Hey, this is Vince Leah with HealthyVeganGuide.com. So glad you're here tonight. Actually, today, if you've seen the other videos that I posted previously, is day 6 of my juice cleanse. And diet's pretty much going down the path of becoming more normal. I had a couple green juices and smoothies today. Also had some nuts and a salad and also some fruit. So definitely transitioning in. I think my body's adjusting pretty well to incorporating whole foods back into my diet, so I don't see an issue. I'll probably keep the same thing tomorrow, and just then after that, just be back at it as a normal diet. I'm going to try to also have more green smoothies. Before I was doing a lot of fruit smoothies, so I definitely want to incorporate some more greens into those, as well as keep the green juice up. So we'll see how that goes. You're here to keep me accountable. So one thing I wanted to talk about today is a comment that was made to me, and they were asking me about this juice cleanse that I'm doing, and they asked me, and I was actually talking to one of my friends, and he goes, well, did you ever like eat something while you're on your juice cleanse and like freak out about it? Like maybe you had something that wasn't juice, or you wanted to have a meal and you had it. And it actually kind of reminded me of a post that I did on my Facebook page, and it says, remind yourself that it's okay not to be perfect. And I think that's something I try to take to heart, because I know before I always used to be like a perfectionist. Everything had to be perfect, and if it wasn't, I'd redo it. And I'm trying to let that go. And I think a lot of us, especially when, if you take for this example with me going through my juice cleanse, if I were to have something, I mean I didn't, but if I had something I wasn't supposed to eat, or maybe I had some food, or I had a meal, the best thing to do would just be to keep going with it and not give up on it. Maybe someone's going through a diet or trying to eat healthier, and then they have a bad meal, and then it's just that the whole thing's off the train. It's a train wreck. They figured, it's over now, might as well go back to what we were doing before. And I think once you focus on making progress in what you're doing and not focus on being perfect on everything, and you can even apply that to veganism. I have a lot of friends that are non-vegan, and maybe you're watching right now. Maybe you're not vegan, or maybe you are vegan. Maybe something gravitated you toward this channel, toward this video, to hear what I'm talking about. But everybody had a journey, and for me, I've discussed previously that it was mainly for health reasons. And as I started this for health reasons, I realized what it meant to become vegan and everything else that it encompasses with the animals. But you never know where somebody is on that path. There was a time where I didn't understand why honey was such a big deal. I thought, the bees aren't dying. What's the problem with eating honey? And it's not till I watched some videos and I read some articles online where you realize, okay, the honey's the bee's food, how it's produced, some of the stuff that the beekeepers do to the queen to keep the hive. It goes on and on. But I think when you're talking to somebody, we have a tendency not to attack them, but really drive in our point without finding out the reasoning behind their decision. For instance, if I know somebody and they're going down a plant-based and vegan diet, and they talk about honey, and they say, well, I eat honey, rather than coming at them and saying, you shouldn't be having honey, I would approach it with more like, well, why do you have honey? And find out the reasoning why. And once you find out that information, then offer up alternatives. Well, have you heard of bee-free honey? It tastes great. You could use it the same type of application, same foods. There's also, other sweeteners you could use. You have maple syrup, you have coconut nectar. There's a lot of different things you can use other than honey. Maybe they're not aware of these. Maybe they're not aware of the treatment of the bees and how that affects the environment and going vegan. And it's just, when you look at the whole thing of somebody trying to be perfect, I think not only do we want to do that when we look at ourselves and not be so hard on ourselves, but also don't be so quick to judge people, and listen to what their reasoning is, and then just offer up your suggestions. Now, whether they take it or not, you can't force your beliefs onto somebody. You could definitely share them. And I think sometimes we get so passionate about what we believe in, and we're so strongly about being vegan that sometimes it almost is too much for some people to handle. So I think you really want to be smart when you're approaching somebody, and this goes to, you know, when you look about being perfect, you could apply that to so many things in one's life. It doesn't even have to be regarding veganism. It could be about, you know, at work, doing a report, or whatever it is that you do. Try to remember to make progress in reaching your goal, and not strive for being perfect. Because sometimes there is no definition of perfect, you know, and sometimes it's that journey that leads us to, not leads us to perfection, but leads us to that, having that growth. And I think that's important to remember. So just something that, you know, is one little comment that was made to me today that I wanted to share, just kind of reflected on that post I put up, and just kind of, you know, definitely, you know, hit a chord with me, and I wanted to just talk about that. So let me know how you've addressed that, if you ever dealt with being perfect, or in a situation where you're trying to explain to somebody and it doesn't go over well, or maybe it does, you know. So leave a comment. I'd love to engage with you. I'd love to have a conversation. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And tomorrow's pretty much my last day of the cleanse, so I'm gonna try to find some way to celebrate, if not tomorrow, sometime this week. So I'll definitely be taking you along for the ride. So glad you're here, and I'll talk to you soon. Stay healthy.